to do that? All right. Should be live. Welcome. Had crazy issues last time with audio, video not syncing up properly. There's no real way to check that because I do this by myself. I mean, there is a way to check it. The way to check it is like just to do it. None of this has been live. Awesome. Screen capture? It's crazy. Wait, is it live now? Oh, that's so silly. This damn thing, dude. Alright, well, we're live. Let me check to see if the feed is loading properly. Last time, had some crazy issues with audio syncing up. Just give me a second to check, please. All right, cool. We are live. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I cut off all my facial hair, except for this little goatee. I feel weird about it. Haven't been beardless in like a full year. And even then, I just trimmed it down. Not that that's any of y'all's business, but just figured I'd share. Hold up a second. Okay, so we are live, right? Cool. Why is it not? All right, hang on a second, y'all, please. There we go. All right, cool. So, exciting news. House of the Dragon Season 2 is coming. Just like me last night. Yes, House of the Dragon Season 2 will debut in HBO in June. Warner Brothers Discovery Streaming and Gaming Chief J.B. Parrott revealed the launch month for the second season of the Game of Thrones spinoff during an interview at Morgan Stanley's Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference on Monday. While the exec did not specify the date of House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere, this is the most information that has been revealed about the release window to date, with HBO chief Casey Bloys teasing an early summer date back in November. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav saying next quarter on the company's Q4. That was just a couple of weeks ago. The rest of this is just their fluff. 10 episode, first season, blah, blah, blah. Right, so exciting. House of the Dragon Season 2 is coming in June. We don't have a day for the release date, but when you look at HBO's slate of TV shows, the only... I'm pretty sure the only thing they have on Sunday ends like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the beginning of June. June 1st is a Saturday. June 2nd is a Sunday. So if we're lucky, I guess, we could get... I mean, at this point, it's been 2 years since Season 1 went off, so it's not luck. It's like, give us the damn stuff we want. Give us the content. Y'all are making it. Give it to us. But yeah, hopefully we get it like the first week of June. That'd be cool. Technically, the second day of June is the Sunday. So, we know what's coming on Sunday. Shout out to Dennis Sorensen. What's up, my brother? Kelly Brooks, Shelly Howard, and Janice Smith. How are you guys doing? This is a surprise live stream. Sometimes when making videos, the little bit of time I have, I get overwhelmed. So I'm like, this is too much to put into a video. It's going to be 45 minutes. I don't have time to edit this. Let me just do a live stream. That's what I did. Jeremy S. says, how many episodes this season? 8. There's going to be 2 less than last season. Typically, there's 10 total. I assumed that because we had 2 less episodes this season, it's going to be coming out faster. I was like, oh yeah, probably it could be out in the spring. Technically, those episodes 9 and 10 are the most tumultuous and like crazy, breakneck, like style of editing. At least like episode 9, something crazy always happens, and episode 10 caps off the whole season, right? So usually those are the 2 hardest episodes to film, and if you knock those off, you get rid of them. You have the climax faster, but less episodes to work on. I would have thought that it would have been, here. Like, I thought for sure we'd have another trailer and we'd know the full release date, like the actual day it was premiering this month. I didn't think they'd still be doing reshooting, and then, we still don't have another trailer. But it's fine. It's going to be here. 2 months is nothing. I know I've got a busy-ass schedule. These next couple months are going to fly by. Pretty sure everybody else watching this, you'll probably have, a life and shit to do. So I'm sure these next 2 months are going to be really easy compared to the last 2 years. It's pretty obvious. 60 days without me uploading is crazy. I didn't even go that long after Game of Thrones Season 8 ended. I had some medical issues, but then after that, I just kind of lost all drive to want to make content. It's like, why am I doing this? I've been doing this YouTube shit for 8 years, and I have nothing to show for it aside from like a silver play button, right? And then, obviously my Patreon, that's awesome. That's where fans go to like give me money directly for content. That's awesome, right? So I've gotten fans from it, but it's like, to be completely honest, I see other YouTubers that have either been doing it longer than I have or less time than I have, and I see how successful some of them are, and I'm like, yo, this is a waste of time. This is like, I need to go get a job, go start trying to take care of my family, and YouTube needs to be pushed off. It's crazy because I've been doing it for 8 years, but it's also like, it doesn't make it easy to continue to make content when there's no winter, right? And then there's also 2 years in between TV shows. It's ridiculous. It's hard to keep my own personal fascination with the series up for that long, because it's like, dude, this is nuts. Like, understand things take time, but like also the author kind of just abandoned his book readers, right? And like, it didn't bother me when Game of Thrones was on, because I'm like, I don't read the books. This TV show is everything. I've got titties, and I can just escape into this TV show. Like, I'll just keep rewatching it, and the new episodes are coming, right? But then after that, for me at least, I felt like the excitement that was there for when the Game of Thrones TV show was actually premiering still hasn't quite, like, the level of that for House of the Dragon hasn't been the same. And it's probably just because I haven't gotten as many views as I used to get, and I'm not as successful on YouTube, so it doesn't like make me want to make content or make me feel like, oh, this show is so big, it's the greatest thing ever, because I'm like getting views and I don't know. Long story short, it's crazy that we have to wait so long in between seasons for a show that's so new. Like, Game of Thrones did make you wait 2 years in between seasons until seasons 6, 7, and 8. It was out relatively pretty much every year. It might be a little bit over a year in between from when the previous season premiered and the next one, but it was never like one trailer in 2 years, barely any promotion. The actors aren't really like sharing inside stuff, like doing interviews or any of that crap. It's like they're just kind of like, I don't know. It feels like they don't put as much money into marketing, maybe. Or maybe it's because I've gotten older. I'm 34 now, and when I was 26, when I first started making videos on YouTube, I was just a lot more energetic and excited of a person. It was easy to please me. So that's probably a little bit to do with it. Kelly Brooks says, happy birthday to me then. Yes, happy birthday. Is your birthday in June? The dude playing Adam Valerian, Clinton Liberty, he posted in the story earlier that his birthday is in June, so it's a birthday for him too, or something like that. Or maybe it was something about the year of the draft, I don't know. Peregrine Took, I like that, Lord of the Rings name, says 2 trailer win. I don't know. If I had to guess, I would assume sometime between now and the premiere date. I know it sounds like I'm being a smartass, but I promise I'm not. It's just early in the morning, and I have not smoked yet. But I'm about to remedy that right now, right? It's not really early in the morning, but mentally, my brain still feels like it's waking up. Jeremy S. says, I just assumed all the CGI was what took the extra time, but I know nothing on post-production. Right. Okay, so let's look at it like this. Post-production for House of the Dragon Season 1, to be completely honest, was a joke compared to Season 2. Main reason being is because Season 1, aside from the first couple of episodes, a few scenes in episodes 5 and 7 or whatever, and then Rhaenys busting up the floor in episode 10, the dragon sequences were like kind of cut back, scaled back for how much we thought we'd be seeing the dragons, right? We didn't see Sunfire at all. The dragons we did see, Caraxes. Oh, yeah, well, there's the fight scene in episode 10 too, obviously, duh. Caraxes, we got to spend a bunch of time with. Vhagar, we spend a bunch of time with. Syrax, right? And obviously Arrax when he's eaten by Vhagar. But that amount, like if you added all those dragon scenes up together, that should be like half of the amount of dragon scenes for Season 2. So the post-production for Season 2, I don't even remember what I'm getting at here. I just assumed all the CGI was what took care of that. Yeah, I guess post-production takes a while. I should have waited until I was in a better mood before I did this live stream. It's just silly. Let's see how many people we got watching. Oh, shit. There's 43 people watching. All right, cool. So, hello, everyone. I just saw like 3 or 4 typing in the chat, so I just assumed there was like 3 or 4 people watching. Let me pick this up, all right? Okay, so to wrap up what you were saying post-production wise, that's going to be why it would take a while. But like I was saying before, it's 2 less episodes. I don't know. It should be out faster. It should be out faster. Hopefully this won't happen next season, like in the wait for Season 3, because they're going to be filming Dunk and Egg, supposedly in July. So, I know I'll be making leaked videos on that. We don't even know who's cast in the show yet, but they're going to be starting filming soon. So I'm imagining they're rounding out the cast. They probably won't finish casting every person before they start filming, but in that process, we'll see like, okay, this person's on set for this amount of days. We can assume that they filmed several episodes. They're probably going to be a main character. Let's label it or narrow it down to who they are or who they're playing by their costume, or if HBO announces who they're playing. Like, that'll make the time pass by easier in between the waits for Season 2 to Season 3. But I'm kind of just talking in circles here, so let's move on a bit. Let's do this. So, Episode 5, right, is where I last left off with the leaks. Their Episode 5 is post Rook's Rest. So Rook's Rest is happening in Episode 4. That's like the biggest battle we've ever seen. Hopefully the biggest battle we've ever seen on screen in Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. We haven't really seen any battles on screen in House of the Dragon except for what they were doing down in the Step Zones. I know Rook's Rest is going to be bigger than that. But as far as like 3 dragons in the air fighting, we didn't see anything that level of dragons except for in the Long Night Episode 3 of Season 8, right? So Episode 5 is obviously after all that stuff that happens in Episode 4, Rook's Rest, with, Meleys dying and Aegon being burned to death and Sunfire nearly dying, and then ultimately Aemon and Vhagar kind of come out unscathed. Episode 5 is coming off of that. So the events that happen in Episode 5 are probably going to be, and this is just my opinion, not necessarily based off the leaks, it's probably going to be kind of like a chill episode, like a bring you down and start to build out the storyline for the rest of the 3 episodes that remain for Season 2, right? So it's like, I would imagine Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are going to be building up to Rook's Rest. Like, certainly the Rook's Rest plot will be mentioned in each episode. Like, they're going to be building up to it. Like, the houses loyal to Rhaenyra and the Crown Lands need to be taken care of first. Let's do this, right? And that's when Kristen Cole and Aegon and Aemon all go out in that warring party and go and attack them, right? In that doing so, Episode 5, like I was saying, is probably going to be pretty chill. So there's several things that are going to happen. I was told by Claire Kilner, who is the director from season 1, that she's going to be directing episodes 2 and 5 of season 2. So I know for a fact one thing, episode 5 is going to be directed by Claire Kilner. We do know that Rook's Rest is confirmed to happen in episode 4. With that being said, it wouldn't make sense to skip an episode before you have this image that I'm showing you. It's behind me. It's an image of Maylee's head being marched through the streets. So what happens is Rook's Rest begins, right? Basically the Greens, specifically Aegon and Sunfire, Vhagar, Aemond, Criston Cole, the Greens warring party, they're murdering people in the Crown Lands. Anybody who's loyal to Rhaenyra, they're just absolutely burning them at the stake. Rook's Rest, Lord Staunton of Rook's Rest, holds out hope in the sense that, like, yo, I'll lock my walls, you keep your crap over there, and, like, he ends up sending a raven to Rhaenyra. In Fire and Blood, Rhaenyra has just lost Lucerys, and she's kind of taken a back seat on the War Council. So her War Council is being ran by Corlys Velaryon, obviously Rhaenys Velaryon, Rhaenys Targaryen, and her son Jace, and then kind of Daemon, but Daemon's in the Riverlands right now at this place called Harrenhal. So when the bird first arrives to Dragonstone in Fire and Blood, Rhaenyra's like, I don't know what to do. So Rhaenys steps up and she's like, I will go help these people, right? They pledge their fealty to the Blacks. Allow me to go and help them out because the Greens are attacking them. When she gets there, she realizes, Admiral Ackbar, it's a trap. And it's not just one green dragon rider, right? Or dragon rider for the Greens, but 2. And also, one of them is the biggest dragon in the world, the biggest threat, right? Normal people would try to turn around and run away, right? They'd be like, this is silly. I'm so crazily outmatched. I'm not doing this. I'm going to run, right? Rhaenys doesn't. She's like, dude, this is kind of what we're bred for. Like, our dragons are bred for war. She willingly accepts her fate and takes her dragon Meleys, known as the Scarlet Queen, up into the air. At one point, Meleys was considered like one of the fastest dragons, but at this point, Meleys has been inactive for 10 years. Hadn't really fought in that many wars to begin with. And Vhagar is just so much more experienced than every other dragon out there. And then also, she is the largest. She's so big. She's so much bigger than everybody else. So Meleys at first gets the upper hand because it's Meleys versus Sunfire and Aegon, right? So Rhaenys and Meleys are whooping up ass on her old grand nephew, King Aegon. And there's some rumors that I was sent through the DMs over on Twitter. Speaking of which, make sure you go follow me. I'm making fun of myself because I say that every video. But yeah, there was a what was I about to say? Oh yeah, the rumors state that like Aegon and Aemond are kind of like still bitter towards each other. Obviously, it was established in season 1 that Aemond wants to be king. He thinks he should be king over Aegon. Aegon's a drunken fool who doesn't really want anything to do with having that much power and responsibility. So that carries over into the battlefield. Obviously, one of the big themes of George's books is like sibling rivalry. That's a massive theme. So the It could possibly happen. Basically, those rumors state that Aegon and Aemond have an argument, and Aegon and Sunfire are the ones who engage in battle with Meleys and Rhaenys, and Aemond kind of takes a back seat and doesn't join in until it's a little bit too late. And when Meleys does, when Vhagar and Aemond do join in, it's like to the point where, like in the books, Meleys rips off Sunfire's wing almost entirely, to the point where after the battle's over, even though Sunfire won, its wing is so badly ripped, it can't even fly. It has to crawl and slither on the ground and eat all the dead bodies. I've told this same thing 400 times. Okay, whatever. I can't focus on that. I swear to God, I've explained this so much. That's part of the reason why I can get demotivated from making content is because I feel like I've said the same thing 40,000 times in different ways. And to be honest, I probably have. Jeez. Here's my hope. Once House of the Dragon Season 2 comes out, once they start filming Dunk and Egg, if Winds of Winter comes out, I just hope they just keep putting out stuff to keep to obviously keep me entertained as a fan, but also to keep me motivated to want to, like, keep making content. Because, like, money is not enough. That's not what motivates me. Popularity and views motivates me, and that equals money. But, like, if money was the main drive for me in this YouTube shit, I would have quit a long time ago. I've made any money at all. Like, you can just look at the view count and equate that to how many clicks, like RPM things. It's just, I think with YouTube, for me at least, I equate my success to, like, my videos getting views. And, like, my videos were getting views in December and January once the trailer came out. But then I made a video and it, like, got the same amount of views that my normal videos were getting before. And it, like, I put in 5 extra hours of work in that video, but it's still getting that same amount of views. It's like, money-wise, that's only $10 less than I was making before, because I only make $20 off these videos anyway. So it's not the money-wise. It's the view count. It's like I can see, okay, 10,000 people watched that video. 10,000 people wanted to see me talk about something I enjoy. That, to me, is success. Money comes after that. But the success is like the view count going up. And it's not just me. It's every single YouTuber. You can look and see. Look at successful YouTubers. Look and see how often they upload. Equate that to the videos that do the most successful for them. And then how often and frequently they'll put that type of content out. Like, YouTube literally determines or dictates the flow of your creativity. Unless you're a super popular, massive creator, you kind of have to fall in line with whatever people want to see the most. With me, leaked videos. That's all people give a shit about. So I'm doing a leaked live stream right now. It's the only thing people want to see. So it's like, I want to make a video. I want to make a podcast on Dune Part 2. No one's going to watch that. 50 people maybe will see it total. So it's like, why would I... I know it sounds crazy, but it's like, why would I waste my time doing that? Like, YouTube won't allow me to reach a new audience because they won't promote my shit to new people. They won't, whatever, it's my fault. I can make the content more interesting, whatever, but, like, you kind of fall into these habits. So I hope after Season 2 airs, when they start filming for Season 3, when they start filming for the Dunk and Egg Show, if they do another project with George and, like, cartoon Jon Snow series or whatever, I just hope they keep putting out information about it to, like, keep people, I say people, but really keep me wanting to make content. Because it's, 8 years is a while to do something, and then to just, like, I don't know, man. All right, so let's see. Like I was saying before, Mark shows you how depressed he is and then tries to go back to the subject matter at hand, right? So episode 4 is Rook's Rest. You have all that crazy stuff happening. And then episode 5 coming off of that is probably going to be, like I said, kind of like a slow burn. So one of the main things that's going to happen for sure in episode 5 is it's directed by Claire Kilner. We don't necessarily know the title of the episode. But the big thing that's going to happen for sure is Maylee's head that's been removed after Rook's Rest is going to be marched through the streets of King's Landing. We've seen that. You see that blue foam thing right there? That is actually Maylee's head. You can see these sticks that kind of come off to the side of it. Those are, like, they're part of the blue CGI foam, but those are indicators for in post-production where they add in all the spikes for Maylee's head. Like, when we see Maylee's in the TV show, it's got a bunch of... Well, here, let me show you. Oh, that's Caraxes. Hang on a second. Why would a picture of Maylee's head? What? I can't tell if that... No. Okay. Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous. Here we go. Nope. Wow. Where are you at, Maylee's? Here we go. Okay, cool. So you see the spike things right there? The crest, the crown of scales around Melee's head. That's what that is. Those spikes that stick out. But anyway, we know for a fact that's going to be happening this episode. Episode 5 of Season 2, House of the Dragon. Another thing that supposedly will be happening, not supposedly, it's just these things, like Melee's head, that was filmed. We have images of it. We know that the director that was on set around that time was filming scenes for episode 5. Or, sorry, we know that there was a director who directed episode 4, filming scenes for episode 4, and then, like, with cross-referencing when other directors were on location with certain actors posting on social media. We just know that episode 5 is going to have Melee's head being marched through the streets because we confirmed episode 4 is going to be Rook's Rest. So natural progression of events in the TV show is after you killed Melee's, you have the scene where you marched Melee's head through the streets. So Melee's is brought down by Vhagar and Aemond. Remember, Aegon and Sunfyre fighting, but ultimately Melee's gets the upper hand, rips the wing off. They go crashing towards the ground. And then Vhagar shows up, hurdles into him. In canon, technically, Vhagar is what knocks them out of the air and into the ground, right? So, like, Vhagar's so massive that when she flies in to engage in battle with Melee's, she accidentally knocks Sunfyre and Melee's out of the air, right? So they go hurtling towards the ground. When that happens, Melee's dies immediately, but her rider, Rhaenys' corpse is so burned and charred that it's unrecognizable, and it's found right next to Melee's body. Like the dragon, you would assume the person that's, burned next to the the dragon itself is dead, right? So according to some leaks, people have mentioned, and I think it's just an idea that people like, because we haven't really seen anything to confirm it, but there's the idea that obviously we know Melee's head is going to get removed, and that's what happens in canon. It's like when the Greens march Melee's head through the streets of King's Landing, the Greens, Alicent, Aegon is technically incapacitated at this time, but Aemond, Alicent, Cole, and Sir Otto, they're all like, yo, we march the head of Melee's through the streets. This is Rhaenys' dragon. In canon, Rhaenys didn't bust up through the floor of the dragon pit, but ultimately they think that the citizens of King's Landing are going to see the wars coming to an end, the Greens are victorious, and ultimately anybody that tries to pledge fealty to Rhaenyra, this is your fate. You're gonna die. Anybody who usurps the throne and betrays King Aegon and his power, this is what's gonna happen to you. So they thought, in canon anyway, the Greens think that Melee's head being marched through the streets of King's Landing is going to sort of make anybody who is still rebelling against them or just hasn't really bent the knee fully to the idea of King Aegon as opposed to Queen Rhaenyra, they think that the citizens are going to see that and be like, oh crap, we better bend the knee. They're not playing. They mean serious business. But instead what happens is the citizens are like, holy shit. They start losing their minds because they're like, dude, that's a massive dragon. That dragon's dead. There's going to be other dragons that are going to die, and we're all going to probably die too. So the citizens of King's Landing are like, yo, we got to get out of here. So they start fleeing. They literally start rioting and going crazy because they realize what this means, that dragons are dancing. They're dying, right? So like, it's only a matter of time before we die. If something like a nuclear warhead or whatever, like dragon's power level in A Song of Ice and Fire is like having nukes, right? If something that powerful is being taken out and carelessly marched through the streets, then the people know what's up. And we actually see, if I'm not mistaken, we see the riots happening in the trailer. We just see glimpses of it. We see people like freaking out and throwing bread, and one person grabs Alicent. That's probably what that is, right? Like they're marching. The could also be food riots because there's a shortage of like when the Greens. So basically, people start fleeing the city when Melee's. This is in canon anyway. I don't know what the hell the TV show is going to do because I haven't seen the episode yet. But in canon, when people start fleeing the city, when they see Melee's head on the streets of King's Landing, the Greens lock down the gates. They close all the gates and they don't let anybody leave. So when they do that, any food that was coming in from the countryside to King's Landing has now stopped. And remember, and this happens in canon too, Rhaenyra had Corlys annex the Gullet, so there's no trade flowing in to King's Landing. All the trade goods that would normally go in there and keep the citizens fed are gone, right? So the scenes that I'm talking about in the trailer could be the food riots that are caused in canon anyway, because there's an annex on the city and there's no food coming in. There's famine, right? But it could also be people freaking out, seeing Melee's head, realizing it means war, and they all just whip up into a frenzy, kind of like It's Always Sunny. With Jackie DiNardo's massive titties. Look it up if you don't get that reference. Jackie DiNardo. But yeah, so I don't know. It's going to be a crazy episode in the sense that, well, I'm kind of contradicting myself. I said it was going to be a sort of a mellow episode because you're coming off of such an action-packed one from Rook's Rest. So that is, I guess, two things could technically be true, right? So it could be a slower episode in the sense there's not a massive dragon battle, but then also this massive riot, whipped up crowd into a frenzy moment happens in the episode too. So it's possible that it's going to be another crazy banger. Like, I would imagine when you have a 10-episode season of something and then you take out 2 episodes, you're shortening it, obviously, 2 less episodes, but that means everything's going to be much more action-packed. I would assume the editing would be tighter for a lot of the episodes, because two episodes doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, but when you take that 2 episodes and you build out plots for it out the whole season, that could be like a massive... So, like, I think the reason why they did it was because the Battle of the Gullet, which is this battle where Jace, all of the Dragon Seeds, and the Triarchy are all fighting. This is where Jace dies. That battle was supposedly pushed back to Season 3, and then they shortened Season 2 for time, right? So, taking out those 2 episodes, like I said, doesn't sound like a lot, but when you could build out plots that would sort of come to a climax in episodes 9 and 10, it, in my opinion, would also make the other episodes shorter in the sense that they're not having to build out more plot for those 2 episodes. So like the episodes would spend less time on certain scenes because they have to fit in more scenes to fill out, like I said, the last 2 episodes. So when I say it's going to be tighter, that's what I mean. Like, it should be easier to focus, right? So if you're an average person who doesn't really know anything about Fire and Blood and you're watching the first season of House of the Dragon, it's kind of confusing. Episode 5, post-episode 5, the characters switch entirely. Alicent and Rhaenyra are played by 2 different people, but Daemon and Viserys look the exact same. So you're supposed to try to figure out, like, oh, okay, like, Alicent and Rhaenyra aged up, but Daemon and Viserys look the exact same. What's going on there, right? Like, that's kind of confusing for somebody to watch if you don't know what's going on. So I feel like that's not going to be the case for Season 2 if you watched Season 1 anyway. Season 2, it should be way more streamlined in the sense, like, Episode 1's plot is probably going to focus on things that are happening in Episode 1, and then also maybe things in Episode 2 and 3, right? And then you continue that. Episode 2's plot is going to focus on things that are happening in Episode 2, but then a little bit of setup for 3, and then 4, obviously, Rook's Rest, right? So it should be more streamlined in the sense, like, one episode's focused on the blacks, mostly. You see what's happening with the greens a little bit, then you switch around. Another episode's focused on the greens. You kind of see what's happening with the blacks in the background a little bit. Then you have an episode with Jacaerys going on in the north, right? And then an episode with the Dragon Seeds. And, like, I don't even know what I'm getting at here. But I feel like it's going to be a tighter season. My hope, at least, like, obviously I would much prefer 2 more episodes of something that I love. But when you look at it from a different standpoint, the episodes could be better, could be tighter, could be more, the plot could flow more congruently. I think that's the word. As opposed to Season 1, it's kind of hard to follow if you're like just an average show watching with, like, why are these actresses being replaced, but then the other actors are not, and they're like the same character. So I don't know. It's, all right, another thing that's going to happen, right? in this episode is we have our boy Aemond. Aemond is going to become Prince Regent. This image is from an individual named Unbox HD. It's just a random person on Twitter. If you ever see or wonder why part of their logo thing is cut off in my videos, is because this person obnoxiously posts Unbox HD all over the pictures to the point where it affects the quality of the images sometimes. So I intentionally cut the logo off. I always say, yo, these are from this guy, Unbox HD on Twitter. I guess he wants Twitter followers. I guess he wants people to go subscribe to him. But you don't need to put your logo all over that. If you didn't put any logo, more people would probably promote you more because it's obnoxious. Anyway, so if you want to find the source of these images, go follow or go look at Unbox HD on Twitter. They're kind of just like they posted stuff after House of the Dragon Season 2 was done filming, but it wasn't related to House of the Dragon. I think they're just like a paparazzi person. I literally think it's just someone who's in the UK who's like a paparazzi, like TMZ style, filming stuff, and they saw House of the Dragon trending. They're in the area, and they're like, of course, I'm going to go take pictures. Like, why not, right? So anyway, Aemond is going to become Prince Regent, because what happens to his brother Aegon in episode 4 is going to lay him out for probably the rest of the episodes in this season. If I would imagine, Aegon should get the majority of the green scenes this season for the first 4 episodes, the first 3, because episode 4 is Rook's Rest. It's going to be taking place at Rook's Rest. But main reason why I say this is because in the books, he's the main character. Like, you'll see these little Twitter fans or these Twitter accounts try to convolute the story and turn it into some weird sex thing or something, like between 2 characters that didn't play as big as a role as they want them to. I don't know. It's crazy. It drives me insane just reading some of these Twitter takes. It's nuts. And they intentionally make them clickbait, it's not the good word for it, but they intentionally make them, I guess, provocative, or just they make it so that you want to engage with it, because they'll have such a completely wrong take on it. You're like, oh my God, how are you this stupid? Let me help you out and make you less stupid. Let me tell you how it really is, right? It's crazy, some of the crap that you see posted online these days with the Twitter takes. Anyway, Aemond is going to be Prince Regent. It's going to, if it doesn't happen in episode like at the end of episode 4, when, obviously King Aegon is taken out, there'll be like a big ceremony when Aemond gets back to King's Landing with Criston Cole and the Greens Warring Party. They'll probably have like a, Aemond maybe stand out on the balcony and give like a slight speech, and maybe they'll crown him or something. If that doesn't happen in episode 4, I think what'll probably happen is Aemond and Cole will be talking after Rook's Rest. So this is when the dragon battle's already taken place. Aegon's probably like being wrapped up and is near death, and his dragon is like taken care of. They're like assessing all the damage. Sorry, my computer just went off. I would imagine him and Cole, Aegon is like out of the picture, but Aemond and Cole have a conversation, and Cole's like, look, dude, you know what this means, right? And Aemond's like, yeah, we won this battle, but there's many more to come. And Cole's like, no. What this means is you are the ruler. You're the Prince Regent, right? So in canon, Aemond, it's not necessarily mentioned if he likes his brother, but he does everything becoming king except for being named King Aemond. He becomes Prince Regent, right? He keeps that as his title. He's the Prince Regent, but he does everything like that a king would do in power. So he starts immediately taking control of the Green's forces. He starts running the small council. Him and Cole end up, after they get back to Rook's Rest, after he's named Prince Regent, after they go back to King's Landing, they go back out because Daemon, remember I mentioned earlier, Daemon's at Harrenhal. He makes a rallying point for most of Rhaenyra's forces in the Riverlands. Aemon's first plan of action after becoming Prince Regent, going back to the city, trying to figure out what the best course of action is to get the throne, get anybody who's loyal to his sister, killed and taken care of, right? And get her to bend the knee or just destroy her. He's like, yo, we got to go take Daemon out because Daemon is her strongest ally. Like in the books, Aemon is like, my sister's a cunt, but her demonetized. Demonetized. You can't say the C word. He's like, my sister's just a woman. The big threat is my Uncle Daemon, right? Like that's what Aemon thinks in the books. So he's like, let's take all of our power, all of our forces out of King's Landing to go and attack Rhaenyra in the Riverlands. And when he does this, he opens up the city to the blacks. Like Daemon, he doesn't know this. Aemon doesn't know this, but Daemon's got the City Watch working for him. So when Aemon takes all of their forces out of King's Landing after Rook's Rest, after he's become Prince Regent, Daemon literally gets word, right? He's like, oh, they're leaving? Okay, cool. We're going to rally up and go take King's Landing. So that's literally what happens. It's like, episode 5 is going to be Aemon assuming his power. I could see him having a conversation with Alicent where Alicent's like, remember what happened the last time you went out? Because remember, Aemon's going to be leaving the city again. He's got to go take Harrenhal from Rhaenyra. That's happening in season 2. Probably in episode 5, right? So he's like, we got to go take Harrenhal from Rhaenyra. I imagine him and Alicent are going to have a conversation. My kids are crying. Hang on a second. All right. Yeah, I can imagine Alicent is going to talk to Aemon, and she's going to be like, look, dude, the last time you left the city, you destroyed an envoy. Maybe chill out, because you have way more power now. You have an entire army with you. You're taking Vhagar with you. So maybe she counsels him to just chill. So maybe there's a scene like that. But ultimately, he'll either depart from King's Landing shortly after he arrives, or he's going to make plans, and then we won't necessarily see him leaving, but the next time we catch up with him from episode 5 will be him already out marching to Harrenhal. Main reason why I say this is because at this point, we're at episode 5 in the season, and 6, 7, and 8 have to wrap up in a bunch of plots that were set up in the episodes before that. So it just makes sense that if, like, they don't want to spend a bunch of time with Aemon preparing to leave right back after he just arrived, just mention the idea when he's Prince Regent at a small council, like, yeah, we're taking our forces to Harrenhal. And then they do a jump to check out what's happening with the Blacks, what's going on with Jace up north, and then the next time we see Aemon, like I said, he's approaching Harrenhal, or just taking Harrenhal from the little bit of forces that Daemon left there, because Daemon's in King's Landing, taking the city. Another thing that was going to happen is... Oh, wait, that's already right there. Crap, I'm an idiot. This was silly. Here we go. Now, this isn't actually Jacaerys. This isn't Cregan, but this dude was seen filming scenes for... Here, let me do this. The North, obviously. He's wearing a black cloak. I don't think he's going to go downtown. But specifically, this scene right here. And then also we've got another image of the snowy glade. So let me pull that up real quick. Oh, crap. Y'all can't see that. Here we go. Snowy glade with the blue screens. Damn, this image was huge. Jesus. There we go. So yeah. This, in my opinion, episode 5 probably will also include a shot of what's happening with Jacaerys. There were rumors that the opening scene for season 2 House of the Dragon was going to be a scene in Winterfell, not with Jason Winterfell, but a scene with Cregan in Winterfell. That'd be cool. I think I was the first person to mention that. I remember the first plot leak I did in October 2022. I mentioned like, yo, there's some rumors for. Obviously, they've already started writing season 2, but some rumors were since they didn't include Cregan, they're gonna open up with a northern scene. It'll probably be Cregan at the wall or something, right? I remember that was a rumor that I mentioned, and then like there were several months go by, and people were like, "No, it's confirmed." I don't know if they got it from me, but I just assume, right? I sound cocky as hell, but yeah, it's like that would be really cool. I would love to have House Stark back into the fray. Like even though they don't really play a role at all until like the last season when Cregan comes down south and we have the Hour of the Wolf. It'd be cool if they got a bit of a bigger role on the show where, like, maybe Cregan fights some wars on his way down south instead of, because, like, literally in the books, the whole reason why Cregan is so damn late and he shows up after Jacaerys is dead, after Rhaenyra is dead, and when King Aegon III, her son, is sitting on the throne and he tries to kill Corlys, and Aegon II is even dead when Cregan shows up, right? The whole reason why that happens is because Cregan is preparing for winter. George says, yes, there's a winter coming, and Cregan is preparing for it. And, mind you, there's the Roddy Wolves, Rowdy Piper, that's a wrestler, but the Winter Wolves do come down, but they don't do enough to help Rhaenyra. They don't do nowhere near enough. Like, for instance, one of the Manderleys promises to send a ship down to Rhaenyra to take her back to, not Dragonstone, but just further up in the north where she's got a stronger seat, like a safer seat rather. Rhaenyra refuses that and uses her father's crown to buy a ship to go back to Dragonstone, ultimately to die. It would be cool if they showed some scenes with Cregan maybe fighting his way down south and he gets stuck up at the neck or in the swamps with the Crannogmen or something. Just maybe have him play a slightly bigger role. Because, like, honestly, that's one of the biggest things the Dance of Dragons is missing is more Starks. Like, you have Cregan, you have House Stark, you have the Winter Wolves, you do have the Northmen coming down and playing a bit of a role. But I feel like if they weren't prepping for winter, which is what happens in the novels, they would have gotten there faster. Rhaenyra would have looked a lot better as far as not only a contender for the Iron Throne, but just like all of her forces would have been bolstered so much if the North played a bigger role than they did. And honestly, that would have probably made stronger blood ties between the North and the South if Cregan had gotten off his ass and gotten down there faster. Because remember, he literally makes the Pact of Ice and Fire with Jace. Whether you want to believe that Jace slept with Cregan or Jace slept with Cregan's sister and Cregan found out and Cregan forced Jace to marry her and then Vermax had to sleep underneath in the Winterfell crypts because he was snappy and biting at everyone. If you want to believe that, that's fine. But the Pact of Ice and Fire for sure happened. It was that a member of House Stark would marry a member of House Targaryen. Specifically, Cregan's son marry his younger brother. Like it was a legit match that Cregan and Jacaerys had made, right? And then nothing ever came of that because Cregan took so damn long to get down south. But just imagine if he had left with Jacaerys. If Jacaerys had brought all of those Northmen down and they would have just showed up at the gates of King's Landing and then Rhaenyra would have taken King's Landing when Aemon left all like that. I don't know. So many things could happen. But there's that. Let's see. 48 minutes. Why is it still playing and I turned it down? Alright, so yeah, this is a good point to wrap this up. Let me check to see if there's any news that came out. I know there isn't. Sorry, I have to check Twitter. It's a bunch of different places. Nope, I don't see anything come out. It is really cool that Emma Darcy, they posted on their Instagram, and they didn't post when the trailer came out, but all the other cast members posted on their social media sharing the teaser trailer from December when that came out, December 3rd or whatever. Emma Darcy didn't, I don't think anyway, posted that trailer, but today they posted their 2 promo posters of their respective characters, Rhaenyra and then Alicent, and they said playtime's over. That's really cool. That was posted I saw it as soon as I woke up this morning at 8. So that's really cool. I would imagine, if I had to guess, 2 weeks. Keep checking everything. 2 weeks, we should have another trailer, so some kind of a teaser one, or promo photos. A pretty reliable source called Redanian Intelligence, who does the Witcher stuff, like Witcher casting leaks or whatever. I'm not a big fan of the Witcher, so I don't know exactly what they do, but I know it's like an online magazine for the Witcher specifically. They cover a lot of House of the Dragon stuff when the Witcher news is slow, and they mentioned that what was I about to say? Oh yeah, they're filming promos. So they're not filming promos. Taking pictures for promotional photos. So those will be coming out soon. Remember, we had the ones that I just mentioned, Alicent and Rhaenyra. It was a promo photo, just promoting what they'll look like, and it was like Alicent. I think it was just Alicent and Rhaenyra, but I can't remember now. I'm like second guessing myself. I'm pretty sure it was just the two of them. There was other images that came out after the teaser came out, and those promotional images weren't necessarily in the trailer, but they went along with it. So like there's a scene of Alicent being like pulled one way or the other, and then they released a promo image that went along with that released through Warner Media Discovery, like their site that they have for business stuff or like press conferencing and things. They released an image of Alicent in that same scene, but it's not the exact scene they showed in the trailer. So they had those promo images. But according to Redanian Intelligence, they've just took a bunch of new promo images and stuff, and supposedly the theme is something to do with like chess pieces or whatever. I don't know. There was some blurry image that went along with it that showed like it. To be completely honest, they don't even look like chess pieces in the image. It looks like it's just some sort of green background. It looks like, you know, when bronze starts to like what is it? What is that called? Like when bronze starts, it's not corroding, but it's like it starts to turn like blue or whatever. That's kind of what the set pieces look like, and they don't necessarily look like chess pieces. But the idea or the rumor is that it's going to be like you play to win the Game of Thrones, which is like a big theme with obviously with the main TV show Game of Thrones. Season 2, they're going to be playing the game a lot more intentionally. And when you combine that with Rhaenyra saying, oh, playtime's over, and then the image of the promotional chess pieces, you can assume that it's probably going to look something like Rhaenyra will be in the foreground, and then the backdrop will be black or red or whatever, and there'll be like chess pieces moving on a board. My opinion, it doesn't really make sense. Chess doesn't exist in Song of Ice and Fire. A game similar to it does. It's called Cyvasse. Cyvasse is an Essos-y thing, and it hasn't made its way over to Westeros yet. It honestly still hasn't in the main show, in like the main timeline for the Song of Ice and Fire series. Tyrion is a very learned individual, and if Cyvasse was extremely popular and even starting to make a small foothold in Westeros, Tyrion would have been playing it. Tyrion doesn't play it or really even hear of it until he goes over to Essos. So Cyvasse should not be the theme of the promo shoot if that's what they're doing. Cyvasse doesn't exist. Cyvasse, like I said, is just chess, right? So it's like with chess, you have, your pawns can move a certain way, your knights can move a certain way, like your queen has certain privileges. That's the same with Cyvasse. So you have like elephants and dragons. Dragons are like aerial support. It's kind of weird that George, the way that he writes it, he kind of dances around the rules. Like, I don't think he's established. Oh, maybe he has. Maybe you can actually play Cyvasse. I don't know. But when you're reading the book, it doesn't full out explain it. It just mentions the different figures that Tyrion has. Like when Tyrion's playing Penny, Penny's this dwarf. She's so stupid, she doesn't know what to do with the pieces. So she'll take the elephant and like knock down the other one or whatever. And then when Tyrion's playing someone who keeps beating him, this half-maester, Tyrion mentions different strategies of like if he brings out his horse before his dragons, they won't be supported. So you kind of don't know how the game is played. But anyway, long story short, there were some images that were supposedly leaked that went along with that rumor of promo photos coming and may have something to do with chess pieces. Greens versus blacks are safely you can assume that the promo is going to have something to do with that because that's the whole theme of the show is the greens versus the blacks. But really, the greens are the blacks. They're related. They're the same. Yeah, it's a good point to wrap this video up. I'm going to real quick look through and grab 2 questions from the chat. Thank you all for watching me. I think we have about 20 people watching. Calorie-san says, woo, Sirhan's back indeed. And then 2 Midgets in a Trench Coat says, any news on Nettles? And that'll be the last question I read. Any news on Nettles? No. There's not been any news aside from the dragon seed image that we have of who we assume is Nettles, right? Hang on, let me pull that up real quick. You know how many times I've had this image saved in here, and it's not popping up right now. This is embarrassing. There it is. All right. So the news of Nettles, so to speak, is this person right here. You see that person? So, like, you can't see my arrow, but starting here from the camera, you've got this guy right here. Then you've got this woman. Then you've got this guy. Then you've got what appears to be another woman, right? And then you've got this guy. And then you've got that guy. And then you've got Clinton Liberty. That's Adam of Hall right there. That is 100% Adam of Hall all the way at the end. He's wearing the cape. He is, according to the teaser trailer, the first person who goes and bends the knee to Rhaenyra. Like, it looks like the conclusion that I came up with after watching it is that I feel like Rhaenyra sees Sea Smoke following this dude around, and she either follows Sea Smoke, and Sea Smoke lands in front of the Dragon Rider, and then that's when she finds out Adam's been riding him. Maybe she realizes at that point that that confirms Laenor's dead, because why would his dragon move on to another rider if Laenor were still alive? The dragon would be able to sense that. So the scene that we have of Adam of Hall landing on Sea Smoke and then Rhaenyra landing on Syrax and the two of them walking up to each other, that looks like that's before. Well, obviously it's before the Battle of Rook's Rest, but that's before really any of the other dragons or seeds or whatever have even ridden or the idea's been popped up, because Rhaenyra is so distraught. She's like, who the hell is this random person riding my husband's, technically ex-husband, she's married to Daemon, right? Who's this person riding their dragon? What everybody thinks happened to Laenor is that Laenor was killed in a duel by his lover, Khal Khori, and then Khal Khori escaped. And that happened because, remember, they faked his death and then pushed that random Velaryon dude in the fire, and his body looked close enough to Laenor. So the public thinks that Laenor was killed in a duel, and Rhaenyra knows that that's not the case, and she gave Laenor a chance at happiness because she faked his death and allowed him to go live with Khal Khori across the narrow sea. But when she sees somebody else riding his dragon, she'll realize that that was all for nothing because he's dead, because someone else is riding his dragon. So when you see her walking up and she's like looking at this dude like, who the are you? What are you doing on my ex-husband's dragon? Right? She's probably going to be like, are you related to him somehow? How did you trick the dragon to do this? Why is the dragon following you around? No offense, but you don't exactly look like a Velaryon, which is the light hair, right? So it'll be interesting to see that interaction. But that was in response to any news on Nettles. So getting back to your actual question, 2 midgets in the trench coat. There's no news on Nettles. There was a rumor that Nettles was cut. We haven't seen any pictures of her aside from this one right here. We assume this is Nettles, but this could actually be, it could literally be Merilda of Hall. It could be someone related to Adam of Hall. It's probably not, but there was rumors that Nettles was cut. There's no news though. There's no official news. When when the show premieres in 2 months, we'll know if Nettles is going to be a part of it, because we'll see her in the show, or we'll see her in the trailer. So even before then, when they drop the next trailer, if she doesn't appear in one of the teasers or the trailers that come out before the show premieres, we can assume that one of two things: either she's not in the show, or they've kept her plot line and plot point a secret because they want to reveal it in a later episode when they do the Dragon's Seed themed episode, which is going to be supposedly episode 6. And when I do my episode 6 leaked video, it's going to be in a video format, not in the live stream version. I just wanted to get this out, like I said, because well, just go back and watch if you want to know. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully the audio in the video was in sync. And if you didn't notice, I'm back upstairs, which is where my other office was. This is where I filmed all my stuff last year. But yeah, where I set up my stuff at now gets flooded because it's in the lower part of my house. And when it rains, mind you, I put a French drain there and I change the gutters often. But sometimes I forget to clean the gutter. So like the way that the grading is sloped basically the floor floods. So I don't feel safe leaving my computer, my expensive fucking microphone, all my equipment in there when the room floods. So I'm having to figure out a new spot to put all my stuff at. That's why I'm back up here. Technically, I can't do this because this is the kids' room, so this is not an option again. But yeah, I'll have it all figured out, worked out before season 2 comes out. I know I said this last time and I kind of failed to deliver, but look for the episode 6 episode 6 leaked video. It's going to be dropping soon. Also, the next live stream is going to be focusing on the Blackfire Rebellions. That's been requested by a patron of mine, my girl Brian Johnson. I still haven't done that yet, but also, like, I have covered Blackfire Rebellions before in the past, so every time I start to record it, I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I need to, yeah. All right, thank you all for watching. Long night. A long night. Saldrizas pustare isco.